It turns out that the older an oyster is, the better quality of pearl it produces. I don't know why that story just resonated with me so strongly. Discover the value of your story.
Increase. So this award lets me know that
good morning. Bonjour. Comment ça va? Et toi? Ça va très bien. Ni hao. Hola. Bienvenue. Wan Ying, bienvenidos, bienvenita, namaste, and welcome. Welcome to another exciting episode of Gem Hunter Stories. My name is Barry B. Mixon, and I am a gemological storyteller. And each week, right here on this channel, I take the art, science, history, and magic of gemstones, precious metals, and fine jewelry, and I put them all together into a story. What I've discovered over the many years that I've been studying gemology is that many of the same characteristics, the same traits, the same attributes that we so highly value in gemstones, you can find those same qualities in people. So what I do is I take those stories and use them as a template, as an inception point, as a bridge to help people, to empower people, and sometimes, oftentimes, to remind people of the value of their own stories, of who they are, of how they interact with the light. Ladies and gentlemen, I am so excited today because today, believe it or not, is the first day of summer, June 21st, 2023. Those of us in the Northern Hemisphere, the summer equinox is here. Thank you, Barbara. And each week is an evolution for me. It really is. It's an amazing place to be in this field and what I do. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful to God to give me the opportunity to do this, because when you study gemology is a completely different science. So those of you who know me, my degrees, I have separate degrees in biology, chemistry, biochemistry, and all those fields I teach it every day, kids all over the world. But gemology is something really special because gemology allows you to take the concepts and principles that we use in gemology and apply it to ourselves. So, in fact, what makes gemology is such amazing concept is that the Earth has over 10,000 different kinds of minerals, 10,000. And of the 10,000, about 2,000 of them are recognized as minerals in the field of gemology. And of those 2,300 of them are considered gemstones or gem quality type of gem materials or minerals that you use for gemstones. And of those 300, about 16 of them are actually recognized. Some of you guys recognize these. Beryl's an emerald. Okay. Corundum's right here. Corundum is ruby or sapphire, feldspar, garnet, jade, lazurite, quartz, opal, spinel. And as a gemologist, we have to learn all of these. I mean, I have gone through books for 19 years. This is just one manual that I had to study. And this is called basically gem identification. Remember that class that I did when I was in New York? Well, 2 years ago? Yeah, very hard class. Because when you understand how many different gemstones there are, when you understand how many different minerals you have to literally look at each one individually. You cannot make an assumption about what it is. So last week we talked about color. We talked about color. And I told you that of all these books, I wish I could just kind of pan my office and show you how many books I have. And 90% of those, 95% of those books are really dealing with color, because that is one of the primary ways you identify what a gemstone is. Now, that would be easy if each gemstone had its own color, but it doesn't. Take a gemstone like tourmaline. Tourmaline was on that list, right? Of the 16, tourmaline is not a particularly rare gemstone. It's rare mineral, but what tourmaline has is all the colors of the rainbow can be found in tourmaline. Just that basic element, that's tourmaline. That's one variety of tourmaline. In fact, the tourmaline has more than 30 different species. Think about that. 10,000 minerals, 2,000 that are recognized, 300 that are used for gemstones, and of those 300, about 16 are known. And tourmaline by itself has 30 different species. In gemology, we call each type of gemstone a species. So you have a variety of different colors of tourmaline. And one of the things that I want you to get out of this show, and the primary principle of this show is about stories and how those stories lead to value. Well, if you're valuing something based on what it looks like, you're already going the wrong direction. If I based a gemstone just on its color, I'd be wrong 90% of the time. Look at tourmaline. Look at all the colors that tourmaline has. Every color of the rainbow, tourmaline, there's a color variety of that in tourmaline. Take, for instance, this. What is this? Take a second. All of you who have been with me long enough, you're all gemologists. Dominus altus amen. I've made you officially temporary gemologists. What is this? Is it an emerald? Is it a spinel? What is it? It's actually tourmaline. In fact, it's called the Pahariba tourmaline. This is 12.54 carats, $150,000. And I'm not talking about prices 2 days. I'm talking about prices last night. This 12 carat tourmaline, which people considered a semi-precious stone sometimes. And just to let you know, you never really use semi-precious is an outdated concept. People in the field don't really, we say it for, because consumers understand it. But in all honesty, there's no such thing as a semi-precious gemstone, just like there's no such thing as a precious person. So, and if you are buying a tourmaline for your wife, for your girlfriend, for your partner, and she wants a Pahariba tourmaline, go ahead and tell me that it's just semi-precious when I'm laying out $150,480. Yeah. So, but my point is, if I was to look at that gemstone, what is it? Here is one of these are tourmaline and one of these are an emerald. They're both green. In fact, you might prefer the one on the left, which is tourmaline, versus the one on the right, which is actually an emerald. And one of the things that you can use when you identify gemstones is not just the color, but what's inside of it. Take notes today. What's inside of that emerald or that gemstone that makes it what it is. So when you really think about 2,000 minerals, 300 of them are gem material, can be used in gem material, and that's not even counting pearls. And then each gemstone has a wide variety of different color. Diamonds come in a variety of different colors. We talked about all the different months back in the March. We talked about aquamarine being the same exact gemstone on a molecular level as an emerald. So now I think you're ready for the next step. That's why I'm excited. I think you're ready for the next step, because when you understand, one, how many different varieties of color there are, then you get to the hard part. That's not the hard part. If it was just one color, you go, okay, tourmaline comes in these colors, diamond comes in this color, aquamarine comes in a variety of color. But now you have to you have to first understand the story, right? You have to understand the story. The story is, what is it? Where did it come from? How is it made? And this is for real gemstones. And then you have to understand, from that story comes what? The value. It comes that voice. Story, value. If there's nothing else you've gotten out of this program, you understand that. At least I should hope you do. So now we're ready for the next test. Ready? Here we go. What do those look like? They look like diamonds. Now, some of them you would say, maybe that's not a diamond. But what is it? Which one is actually a diamond? Is it this one? Is it the one up here? Is it this one? We understand that size doesn't matter. Is it still a diamond? What is it? This is what they are. The only one that's actually a diamond is the one in the upper left. That's a diamond. The rest, rutil, GGG, I won't get into the whole technical thing. We'll do that next week on another time. This is spinel. So that same spinel, that's the big giant, what is it called? The Black Knight's ruby in the Queen's crown, which is actually not a ruby. It's a spinel, which is red. There's a colorless variety of spinel. Look, at now you're talking about strontium, titanate. You know that's not made in nature. Here's corundum. Yes, corundum, the same corundum that a ruby, when you talk about a corundum, you talk about either rubies or sapphires. And I told you, the only difference between a ruby and a sapphire is what's inside of it. A ruby has trace amounts of chromium in it, whereas a sapphire has different varieties of iron and titanium. But if it has neither, this is what it looks like. Synthetic corundum. YAG is a whole nother. And then, of course, we got colorless zircon, CZ, as you guys know it. So today's story, today's episode is understanding the difference between real, synthetic, and imitation in gemstones and everything else. Because, ladies and gentlemen, when you get this, if you begin to really think about this in your mind, I'm telling you, it will change your life. I thank God every day, every week I do this show. First of all, thank you all for supporting this show, for the comments, the ideas, because you guys, the ideas, the questions, the things that you give me, or the question you ask, literally tells me the direction, gives me an idea of the direction I want to take. So, real, synthetic, and imitation. And when you get that concept, you can apply it to so many different things. If you have been in a bad relationship and you don't understand why, this will help you. If you're in a job that you don't like, or you thought the job was going to be okay, this concept will help you. It's almost like Zen when you begin to understand how it works and how those same principles work with gemstones, work with you. It's amazing. It's amazing. So let's continue. Here we go. This is Moissanite. In fact, I kind of took away the surprise. Who thought this was a diamond? Who thought this was a diamond? This is not. It's not a diamond. It's Moissanite. Moissanite literally is a whole different gemstone. In fact, with moissanite, what you have to use is a whole special diamond probe. This is Presidium multi-tester. Because what you get, if you test this, it works with diamonds and every other gemstone, but it doesn't. This one where it does. But if you don't have one that works with moissanite, you're going to think it's a diamond because moissanite is very, very close to a diamond. The hardness of a diamond is 10. Moissanite is 9.5. In fact, moissanite has more brilliance than a diamond. Think about that. When you see those rock stars and you see especially the rappers with these big giant diamond earrings and stuff like this, lots of times, ladies and gentlemen, that's moissanite. It's moissanite. And moissanite actually came from outer space because the first time, the reason why it's called moissanite, because it was named after a gentleman, Dr. Moissan, who was French, and he discovered it in a crater, I think in Utah or in Arizona, when a meteor hit, and he found trace amounts of this. So the moissanite originally came from outer space, but now moissanite is created in the lab. So this is moissanite, more than twice the fire, which means that when you're standing in that room, in that party or that hall or in your office, and you just got your ring on and you're just twirling your fingers and someone can see it from across the room, it doesn't mean that it's a diamond. It could very well be moissanite. So what we have to understand is the difference between real, synthetic, and imitation. These are all gemstones that are used in the simulation to that of a diamond. A lot of people are rocking this. Look at the quartz. This is quartz. Yes, this nothing quartz. This is what quartz looks like when you polish it, when it's in a clear variety. Here's a clear sapphire. Here's a clear sapphire. There you go. Colorless sapphire. Here's CZ. A lot of y'all are rocking CZs every day. Girl, I love that necklace. Oh, thank you so much. You know it's a CZ. Here's a diamond. And here's moissanite. The fire, when you say fire in the gemstone, when you say fire in the diamond, what you're talking about is how that diamond, when you move that diamond around, of course, you guys know I have my 46,000 carat diamond. One of these days I'm gonna get hit over the head because somebody's gonna think this is real. But fire is the scintillation, technically what we call scintillation. So when you move that diamond, all those sparks of light that comes from it, that's called fire, because that's what it does to the light. It's like fire coming out of that gemstone. But all these gemstones, all 5 of these, have some element of that, and that's why they're used to simulate a diamond. So some of you are confused right now. Some of you are thinking, well, what is the difference? That's why I'm here. Real. What is a real gemstone? What is a real real person? Okay, we're going to extrapolate this to people, but let's go into gemstone. In gemology, a diamond, a real gemstone, is also known as a natural gemstone. So when you see the ad that says natural gemstone, that means it's real. It is formed in nature without any human intervention. So there's no touching. There's nothing. You just, other than the guys digging the stuff up, that's a whole nother show. These gemstones are mined from the earth and are prized for their rarity, beauty, and uniqueness. Real gemstones can be further classified into various categories based on their chemical composition, their crystal structure, and their mineral properties or physical properties. This, again, what do we call that, ladies and gentlemen? The story. The story. So when you have a real diamond, there is certain characteristics that it has. And this is where you make the extrapolation to people. When you are with a person and you're trying to establish whether that person is real, not meaning real like they're alive, real being, are they who they present themselves to be? There's really not a mystery. There really isn't if you start thinking like a gemologist. When I'm looking at a diamond has a specific molecular structure. It has a specific, here's a book called Gemstones of the World. And if I'm looking up diamond, if I'm looking at a diamond, I have to say to myself, what is the what is the refractive index of a diamond? It clearly says right here, 2.417 to 2.419. And when I put it on the thing, like what's called a refractometer, and I put that gemstone on that refractometer, if that gemstone does not read a 2.417 to 2.1419, then guess what, ladies and gentlemen? It's not a diamond. It's not real. It might look like a diamond. Oh, girl, that's so beautiful. Oh, my God. But if it doesn't have that characteristic, then it's not a diamond. It's not a real diamond. Think about that. Think about the person that you dated, that bad relationship, that bad marriage, that bad job. They told you who they were. When you really think about me, you might be mad at them and everything else, but the bottom line is they told you who they were, not just in what they were saying. What is their actions? What were their properties? What did they show you? Who are they? Are they real? And again, you can do this without making a disparaging comment or opinion of that person. That person is just not you. It's just not what you want. That's not the species of diamond or gemstone that you want. There's a whole bunch of people that are perfectly happy with moissanite. They don't want to spend the thousands of dollars that it costs to buy a real diamond. They say, girl, I just want something shiny in my ear. So moissanite works for them. This is the same thing in a relationship. It's not that that guy is a bad guy. He's just a bad guy for you because you were looking for a diamond. And according to what you were looking for, your diamond should have been 2.417. When you put that diamond, that man, that woman on your internal refractometer, because this ain't your first rodeo. You've dated before. You've had boyfriends, girlfriends, partners in your life. And you realize, okay, this is what I would like. This is what he presents. This is what she presents. If you are looking for a person in your life that can cook, you're like, girl, I love to cook. My man, my woman, if my partner should be into cooking. And if that person, if that's the gemstone you wanted, that's the type of person you wanted, and that person does not manifest that, then it's not that they're bad. They're just not for you. They're not real for you. Yeah. They're not real for you. No problem. No problem. And remember, there's 10,000 different minerals. 2,000 of them can be used in gemology. 300 of them are recognized as gemstones. And of the 300, 16 of them are recognized as gemstones. And of the 16, just do the math. Of the 16, you got gemstones like tourmaline that comes in every color of the rainbow. So maybe you wanted a emerald and you looked at that man, you looked at that woman, and you said, girl, I love how, you notice how green she is? Oh, she got to be an emerald. No, she doesn't. She could be tourmaline. Not that that makes her bad or that doesn't make him bad. They're just not what you wanted. You see how that works? You see how the stress, the anger begins to maybe leave because it gives you responsibility for the choices that you make. That's why those of you who watch my show, I can talk about my ex-wife all the time. All the time. My ex-wife was gorgeous. Beautiful woman. She just wasn't the gemstone that I wanted. And I learned that. I learned her story, and maybe I wasn't the gemstone that she wanted. See, it goes back and forth. It goes the responsibility, so you don't have to feel bad. You were like, okay, I just wanted something different. She wanted something different. And what you do is you find somebody who wants the qualities that you have. Real. So let's go to the next one. Synthetic. And a lot of people are confused about synthetic. And I'm really happy to be able to get you to understand synthetic, because synthetic is a serious part of gemology today. Synthetic gemstones. Okay, just like we have synthetic, all this artificial intelligence, we have synthetic meats are being made, and all these plastic 3D guns and all that. Synthetic. So what does synthetic mean? Synthetic gemstones, also called, you'll recognize these terms: lab created, lab grown, or man-made gemstones, are produced in a laboratory under controlled conditions. These gemstones have the same. This is what you need to really understand, ladies and gentlemen. These gemstones, a synthetic gemstone, has the exact same chemical composition of a diamond. Of whatever a genuine gemstone has. So if you make a gemstone that's out of carbon, if you make synthetic diamonds, that gemstone has made up of carbon exactly the same as a natural diamond, as a real diamond. They have the same chemical composition, the same crystal structure, the same optical properties, meaning the way it interacts with the light is exactly the same way as natural. You cannot tell the difference. They are created by replicating the natural processes that occur in the earth crust over thousands or millions of years, but in a shorter time frame. Takes what? The youngest diamonds are at least 600 million years old. People can make, there are various companies that can make a diamond, a quality gemstone, a quality diamond in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Millions of years, 2 weeks. Synthetic gemstones, I love this part. Synthetic gemstones can be difficult to distinguish from natural gemstones without specialized equipment or years and years of experience. And sometimes even that won't help. I told you maybe a couple months ago, when one of my mentor, Robert James, told me about that program on Showtime talking about synthetic diamonds. And I knew about synthetic diamonds because synthetic diamonds have been around since 1953. GE started synthetic diamonds, General Electric. But now synthetic diamonds are so sophisticated, or the technology is so incredible that you cannot tell the difference between a synthetic diamond and a real diamond. You can't. Not without, I think the equipment costs maybe $1 million. There's equipment that maybe the cheapest you can get. I mean, you can get some knockoffs that will kind of lead you in the direction, maybe $400, $500, $800. But if you really want to know, you need something like a high powered liquid chromatography, where you're literally getting into the molecular. You need X-ray crystallography, where you need to get into the crystalline structure on a molecular level to be able to tell the difference. Yeah. What are these, ladies and gentlemen? What are these? Look at them. Who wouldn't win? Look at the center one is nice, but look at the sides. Look at the round. What are they? Are they diamonds? What are they? No, they're not. They're synthetic diamonds made with a vapor. Is a vapor technology. That's what the V means for. I don't want to get into the technical stuff and scare anybody. These are synthetic diamonds. And again, if you have this diamond, if this diamond is a 2 carat round brilliant earring, and you have one on one side, one on the other side, nobody will be able to tell the difference. Nobody. I don't care who they are. So the only person who knows is you. But yet, they're synthetic. And when I think about synthetic diamonds, I think about that part in As a Man Thinketh. And this is where why I get so excited about gemology, because it links with things that I have studied for the last, 30, 40 years. The thoughtless, the ignorant, the indolent, seeing only the apparent effects of things and not the things themselves, talk of luck, of fortune, of chance. Seeing a man grow rich, they say how lucky he is. Observing another become intellectual, they acclaim how highly favored he is. Observing, and noting the saintly character and the wide influence of another, they remark how chance aids him at every turn. They do not see the trials, the failures, the struggles which these men or women have voluntarily encountered in order to gain their experience. See, when you think about synthetic diamonds, it takes work. It takes work to become that. When I think about something, a person in regards to being synthetic, that's the person who necessarily didn't grow up with those skills. If I want to play basketball, I have no skills other than having 2 arms, 2 legs, and 2 eyes that like Michael Jordan. So that means if I would have to take the same care, I would have to create those characteristics inside myself. If I am going to be a diamond or be a basketball player. It takes work to do that. That's the person that has to grind every day. That's the person that has to practice. That's the person who has to develop themselves in order to become in the same level as that real and natural diamond. That's what I love about makeup for women. I love makeup for women because makeup allows a woman to become anything she wants. Men too. Anything. There's some TikTok videos where you have women who without makeup and they look totally different. And when you put makeup on, their eyes, they become, and you may choose not to do that. But what makeup does, what wigs, hair, all of that stuff, that allows you to become basically synthetic, meaning you have all the characteristics of real. When you put blush and cover and all this other stuff, my mother taught me all this stuff. When you put all that stuff on your face, your skin, what does it do? What's foundation? Here's your skin. You may have whatever, you put foundation on, you put blush on, you put whatever, and it completely changes you. Which these men voluntarily encountered in order to gain their experience, have no knowledge of the sacrifices they've made, of the undaunted efforts that they put forth, of the faith they have exercised every single day. They work at being who they are, that they might overcome the apparently insurmountable. You're not born with this beautiful body. You don't look like whatever, this star, but yet you work out every day. You eat right. You do things because you want to realize the vision of your heart. They do not know the darkness and the hardness. They only see the light and the joy and call it luck. This is what people say. They do not see the long and arduous journey, the work that you had to do to put yourself together. They only behold the present goal and call it good fortune. They do not understand the process. That's what synthetic is. Synthetic is taking all the qualities that a real gemstone has, and you take it, and in a short amount of time, you become. So people don't see that. They only perceive the result, and they call it chance. That's what synthetic is. You're looking at something that is exactly like what real is, and nobody can tell the difference. And we'll talk more about that when we come back from the other side. I just want to take a second to give it up to my executive producer. She creates unbelievable commercials. I mean, I am so pumped up for summer. Thank you, Barbara J. Beckley. Appreciate that. So let's continue on. So we talked about real coming from the earth, real basically being what it is. Real is that person, that person that was just born to cook. That person that was born to, how people who are designers and they could see colors and things of this, that's real. Synthetic is that person, is that gemstone that has all the characteristics of that gemstone, but that's not what it is. That's not what it is. When they make a synthetic emerald, which that process has been around for, it's called the Chatham method. In fact, Tom Chatham came on my DM me, which was an honor because his family, his legacy is huge. So when the Chatham synthetic emeralds, all they do is they take a seed. They take a seed from an emerald and grow from that. They take the same process as that the earth took 10,000 years to do. In a matter of days, in a matter of weeks, they create an emerald. And you can't tell that. In fact, to be honest with you, let me tell you how deep it is when you understand real, synthetic, and imitation. When you understand the difference, especially between real and synthetic, when you understand what synthetic is, you know what the sign is that lets me know as an appraiser that I'm looking at more than likely something that's synthetic, an emerald that's synthetic, because natural emeralds have something wrong with them. They have not something wrong. That's the wrong way of saying it. They have what's called inclusions. They have inclusions. So when someone shows me an emerald, and if especially it's a large emerald, if someone shows me an emerald and they didn't say that they spent $30,000-$40,000 for it or a whole bunch of money for it, more than likely it's treated. It's synthetic. It's either treated or synthetic. Because if it's clear, if there's no what in France, well, not French, right? In gemology, they call the inclusions in emerald jardin, the garden. So when I'm as a gemologist, and if I'm appraising an emerald and I'm looking at a clear emerald with my loupe, I'm looking at it and it's clear, there's no inclusions, I already know it's treated. It has to be, because clear, transparent emeralds are extremely rare. Most emeralds are treated. Most of all the emeralds you've ever seen have been either synthetically created, or if they are real emeralds, they have been treated so you don't see the jardin in that emerald. So literally what we're talking about is, put in terms of people, we're talking about the difference of being, how some people, I have a friend named Clifford Pugh. When we were growing up, Clifford had the perfect afro. Clifford, you're out there. I'm talking about you. Clifford had the perfect afro. You know how the big afros. Clifford's afro never messed up. Clifford could be underwater, swimming underwater. His afro would be just perfect. That wasn't my afro. That wasn't me. I looked good when I came out of the barbershop, and maybe an hour later, my hair looked like wow. And I was like, dang, my mother would say, did you go to the barbershop? I'm like, yeah, Mom. Well, how come your hair don't look like Clifford's hair? Because Clifford's hair was real. Mine was synthetic, meaning I had hair, but I had to do something to it to get it to look anywhere near as Clifford. That's the difference. That's the difference. People who are, I don't like saying short, people who are concentrate, what do? They wear heels. They wear heels. They wear heels in order to be taller. People who wear the stomach clenchers or whatever else. I mean, come on, ladies. You guys know there's a variety of different things that women can do to look a certain way, to feel a certain way, to present in a certain way. That's synthetic. You're human. You're human. Just like whatever rock star, whoever, Mickey Minaj, whoever you want to be. And you said, ooh, I like her hairstyle. So what did you do? You went to the beauty salon and you told your beautician to create that hairstyle. There you go. That's synthetic. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just understanding how you got there. It's not like it's bad. If you have a synthetic diamond, it's not that it's bad. It's just that you didn't pay as much money as somebody else that just, I need to get a diamond that comes right out of the ground. Okay. I paid I had a woman tell me one time, I paid $60,000 for this necklace. And I was showing her a necklace that was, I don't know, maybe $5,000. Same quality. Same, but it was synthetic. I want it to come out of the ground. Okay. No problem. But there's somebody out there that would buy it, that would wear it, and it would be beautiful, and they would feel wonderful about it, and they would have the full knowledge that that necklace has everything, the same properties as real. So let's talk about imitation. And I'm gonna talk about imitation because there's a lot of bad press that imitation gets. Imitation gets a lot of bad press. Imitation in jewelry is either called simulants or what we call usually custom jewelry. Okay, and people like to, there's some people that look down at custom jewelry. Oh, it's not real. That's okay. Yeah, it's not real. An imitation or simulants, also known as simulated gemstones or gemstones, fake gemstones, are materials that simulate the appearance of natural gemstones. But they do not possess, this is the key thing, they do not possess their chemical or physical properties. Imitations can be made of, oh my God, a variety of different materials. Glass, plastic, CZ. This whole book, I spent the week studying like 8-10 hours a day studying. This was in the classroom. This whole book is all the gemstones that exist. And this whole book is based on not only just what the gemstone is, how many different imitation gemstones, how many gemstones look just like that. That's what you have to study gemology. That's the hard part. Now, if I had to do that with gemstones, just imagine what you had to do that with people. These materials are designed to mimic the color, the shape, the luster of natural gemstones, but are not natural, genuine gemstones. They are typically more affordable alternative to real or synthetic. So how do we put that with people? How do we put that with people? When you begin to understand the power of understanding the difference between real, synthetic, and imitation, you have to understand that's the person that manifests. When you see them, they seem like they got it all together. How many, come on, raise your hand. Raise your hand. How many of us married or dated somebody that when you looked at them, you thought, oh my God. Did you see? I mean, she is so fine. He is so handsome. Okay. And you got with this guy because, he had a six pack, he was sitting there swole and everything else. And he had that deep voice. Hey, baby, how you doing? Oh my God. Many of you got with a brother like that. And then you went home or you made the really bad mistake of marrying that person because you thought that person was a ruby. You did. You thought it was, girl, I got me a real sapphire. And you had a whole big wedding and stuff. It wasn't until later on that you found out that's not what he was at all. He was glass. He was glass posing as a ruby. He was a sapphire posing as a blue. He was a blue gemstone, maybe a spinel, maybe a tourmaline, maybe quartz, posing as a sapphire. Yeah. What are these? What are these? Ladies, look at this. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. You know what these are? You know what these are? These are CZs. Yes, these are CZs. Look at this. Look how pretty this, especially the pink. I mean, I like all three of them. I like all three of them. Look at the pink one. Look at the different unique shape that pink. Look at that what you got, and I can tell the difference between a CZ. Actually, there's really not hard. It's hard to. It's easy to tell the difference between a ZZ and a diamond, because when you put a diamond on a piece of paper where it has words in it, you can read the words straight up because it's singly refracted, meaning when the light comes in, it goes straight through. So what you see on the paper, what you see in the diamond, the words will read just like a word. When you have a CZ, and a whole bunch of other gemstones are what's called doubly refracted, meaning that the light splits. So when you see it, it looks like there's a doubling of the words. Easy to do. But when you look at it, you wouldn't know. If you didn't know that story, you wouldn't have no clue. No clue. None. Oh, well, I don't know. That looks like a CD. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You didn't know that. You didn't know that. Not by just looking at it in my ear. You didn't know that. Think about it. Think about the power of that. If you were able to look at somebody in your life, that man, that woman, if you were able to stop telling, hey, Chelsea, if you were able to look at somebody, Chelsea, we've all been through this. We've all been through this. You looked at that person. Oh my God, I could have saved myself 2-3 marriages had I had this understanding. They were beautiful. They were beautiful. My exes was, yeah. Look at the third. Look at the first one. That nice pear shape. Look at you can see a little fire there, a little color going on. Look at the third one going out. Pretty. Hello? CZs. CZs. Imitations. They weren't even nowhere. That's nowhere near a diamond. None. Not even close to a diamond. As far as what the molecular structure is, nope. A CZ has got to be, the hardness is about a 6. A diamond's a 10. It doesn't have the chemical properties of it. It doesn't interact with the light in the same way. It just looks like it's a diamond. I'm going to let y'all think about that for a second, because some of y'all like, dang, some of y'all looking at your husbands and wife like that is like, you know what? He's right. And now you mad because guess what? You didn't do gem identification. You just married them because you thought they was a diamond, there was a ruby, there was an emerald. That's what you thought. Beautiful green gemstone. Is it tourmaline? Nope. Is it a light emerald? Nope. Is it spinel? No, this is a CZ. This is a CZ. Probably with some kind of either iron or chromium in it to give it that green color. Yeah, that's a CZ. You looked at that CZ in the club, in the office, on the bus, at class, and said, girl, woo, look at him. Look at him. And the guys do it all the time. Oh my God. The guys do it all the time. They just say, hey, she is so fine. You don't have a clue who that person is inside until you understand what their story is. And once you understand what their story really is, because that's how you figure it out. Yeah. And again, it's not to talk about the people who are imitation. It's not to talk about costume jewelry. You just didn't choose to spend that kind of money, or you may not have that kind of money to buy a real emerald, sapphire, diamond, ruby. You didn't. So you bought imitation because you want it the way it looks. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. Now let's talk about pearls. This is the month of pearls. And just to let you know, pearls actually have the month of June, you have 3 gemstones. Those of you born in June, you have 3 gemstones. You have pearls, you have, alexandrite, which is very expensive gemstone, and you have moonstones. But we'll talk about that more next week. These are pearls. These are all the different colors that pearls come in. Yeah. We know that pearls are the only gemstone that comes from a living organism. But what you have to understand is that 99% of all the pearls that you have ever seen in your life are created or oh my God, cultured gemstones. Cultured gemstones mean that cultured pearls means that they grow them in big giant farms, especially in China and Tahiti's the South. These are Tahitian pearls. These pearls, beautiful, are uniform. That's how you know that they're cultured, because the uniform shape in them. When natural pearls don't always come in the same shape, they don't come in a symmetrical shape. Back in the day, you didn't even, if you found a pearl like this, oh man, this is the pearl that Julius Caesar sold, not this one, but this is the type of shaped pearl that Julius Caesar sold for $500 million. He gave away for his woman. For his woman, his side piece. That's what he did, because somehow or other nature made that pearl into a symmetrical shape. Yeah. So as a gemological storyteller, what I do is literally take those same concepts and apply it to people, because it's the same thing. When you look at a string of pearls and they're uniform, you already know they're not natural, because you're talking about a gemstone that comes from a living organism. We already know, whether you know science or not, you know that everybody's not the same. You come from the same, especially if you got brothers and sisters. Your brother is nothing like you. Your sister is nothing like you. Sometimes you say, how did we come from the same parents? Pearls react the same way. So when you see a string of pearls, and then look how uniform all those pearls are. That's cultured. That was created. It was created. They literally put, except when you're talking about freshwater pearl, they put a bead that normally comes from another oyster, and then they put it in. Yeah. These are all cultured pearls. Here's this pearl strand is literally $15,000. Look at the different sizes. This is a 70,000 South Sea pearl and Tahitian pearl necklace. Look at this. This could not be created in nature. It would take thousands and thousands and thousands of years, and God knows how many oysters to find this many pearls that looked exactly the same way. These are treated. These are cultured. These are cultured pearls. So I'm looking at the time. So today, your homework is to ask yourself a question. Are you real? Are you synthetic? Or are you an imitation? Which one are you? You have that choice. Unlike gemstones, you have the choice to make yourself your real talents. What are your real talents? What are your synthetic talents? The things that you have learned to do. Like when you go to Toastmasters, you're learning how to become a better speaker. You're synthetic. You're not Les Brown or whoever these people, Tony Robbins. You had to learn how to do it. Or are you an imitation? Do you just look a certain way? Do you dress a certain way? Do you drive a fancy car knowing that your butt is broke as all heck, but you look like you got money? Imitation. Real, synthetic, and imitation. So, as always, I hope you enjoyed today. Happy first day of summer. My name is Barry B. Mixon. I am a gemological storyteller. And take the time this week to discover whether or not who you are. Are you real? Are you imitation? Or are you synthetic? And until next week, au revoir, à te tella, voilà.